What's up, dude?
What's up, Sean? How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. What can I do for you?
Yeah, so just today I was told that Novation would be a good way to move forward on an off-market property. So, just kind of wanted some background on like how I should structure them. And I really never done this before. I've heard that
Oh,
they do work, but uh, just wanted to hear like your opinion and like how you think I should proceed.
yeah, novations are awesome as long as the situation fits. That's going to depend on what kind of situation you're in. And yeah, this will only work for off market. So I'll give you a few of the basic rules right now, and then I'll get into the formula, and then I'll kind of get into the methodology of it. So, a couple rules if it's off market. For now, you want to make sure that the property is at least C condition, C grade, like A, B, C, D, E, F. F is bad, A is good. And the reason why I say C grade, and the thing you really want to look for is will it pass a formal inspection? That's going to be the big kicker. Now, can you list a property that is in terrible, terrible shape as an novation? Absolutely, you can. But you're going to have to get it for a super, super low price, and you're cutting out quite a few of the potential buyers because it's not going to pass inspection, which means whoever's going to buy it is going to have to go to a bank that's going to do like a hard money or private money loan. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, what is a novation? A novation just means that, okay, so let's say you're selling your house, right? You got this house, you want to sell it. You don't want to deal with a real estate agent for whatever reason, and you don't really want to put all the money that's needed into it, but you still want to sell it. You don't have time to deal with a real estate agent, whatever the situation is. You can't be bothered. So instead of you calling, I don't know, Remax and being like, hey, send someone to my house, I want to sell it. And then they come over, they do the paperwork, they walk the property, they tell you what they can sell it for, yada, yada, yada. Instead of that, you offer that to whatever seller you're talking to. So that would look like this. Hey, Connor, look, man, I know you want to sell your house. I know you said you weren't interested in creative financing. I have a cash offer here. I'm telling you right now, based on our conversation yesterday, you're not going to like it. But don't shoot the messenger because I got another option for you. So I'm gonna give you the cash offer, but I want you to wait for this other option. Okay. Don't just yell at me. I didn't come up with these numbers. My system did. But I really think you'll like this other offer. So essentially, and then I would give you the lowball cash offer. That's the wholesale offer. I know you're not going to take that. And so I would say, yeah, I figured you were going to say that, Connor. So essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to do something what's called, a lot of people call it an equity protection program. I guess that's the easiest thing that you can Google. But essentially, what we're going to do is I have a real estate agent that's local in Florida. They're in your town. I've worked with them for years. She's a beast when it comes to getting properties sold quickly. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring her on board. I'm going to have send her to the property. She's going to walk it. She's going to give me a little bit more information than what I've got now. And then she's going to let me know what she thinks that we can do with it for at whatever price. You're not going to have to pay the real estate agent anything, Connor. I'm going to take care of her closing costs, her commission. I'll take care of the taxes, title, escrow. I'll take care of all of that. And if the appraiser or the inspector say that something has to be fixed before we can close on it, I'll cover that as well. You and I will work out a price. You'll get that at closing. I'll take whatever's left and pay for all of the closing costs and repairs. That's essentially what our equity protection program is. And you don't have to do anything. We'll take care of everything. You literally just have to sign the paperwork that I'm going to send. I'll take care of everything else because I know you're busy. That's a novation. A novation is basically saying, I'm going to, as the wholesaler, I'm going to list your property for you. I'm going to use a real estate agent. I'm going to pay for the closing costs. I'm going to pay for the realtor commissions. And I'm going to pay for if the inspector says, hey, we need to change this electrical box before we can close. Okay, I'll pay for that. Hey, we need to change this plumbing in this bathroom or install new outlets that are GFIC so in this bathroom. I'll pay for all that. Whatever, even if it's a roof. Hey, this roof is leaking on this part of the house. This needs to be fixed before we close. We cover that too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All of that was different versions of how I explain what innovation is to a seller.
When you're actually, pitching them, are you actually saying equity protection
Uh huh.
program? Okay.
Yeah, because that is something that they couldn't Google If they're that type of people, then there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to do a little research. That's okay. Because if you're and I are being above board, they can do all the research they want. All they're going to see is I'm telling the truth. So yeah, I want to give them something that they can actually Google just in case. And a lot of times, and I know it's going to sound manipulative, but it's not. It is what it is. The way people's brains work. A lot of time, by just giving up that information and then inviting them to Google it, most of the time they don't. It's like, oh well, they wouldn't tell me what it was. It doesn't tell me to go Google it if there's something wrong. And for some reason, that's enough for some people. I still encourage them to Google it like for real, but most of the time, if you tell them to, they won't. They just further believe what you're saying.
Sweet.
So that's innovation. You're putting yourself in the middle of a listing. So instead of the real estate agent talking to the buyer, a real estate agent talking to the seller, the real estate agent is going to be talking to you. You're going to be talking to the seller. And then you're going to talk to the seller, seller's going to talk to you, and then you're going to convey all that information to the real estate agent. You're just the middleman, just like a normal wholesale transaction between the seller and the buyer. You're the middleman. So now, once all the paperwork is signed, everyone's on the same page about what's happening, you need to figure out how much you're going to offer them. So the formula for Novation, the most used formula, from what I understand and what I've been using, and it works, you take the as-is value, not the ARV. You take what is the house worth right now in its current condition, in its current market. That's the as-is value. You take that, you subtract 10%. That's for the closing costs. It's like 9.8 something percent. Just subtract 10%. So you subtract 10%, and then you subtract 30 grand. The 30 grand is your assignment fee. The 30 grand is the only number you can mess with. And I don't think it's a good idea to go much lower than that. And here's why. Out of that 30 grand is, if something's wrong with the house, it's coming out of that 30 grand. If the house needs a full roof, $12,000, now you're only getting 18. If it needs a full roof plus electrical and whatever else, now you're only getting 10. You see what I'm saying? Like, any repairs that the appraiser or the inspector say that it needs, you're on the hook for that per the paperwork. It's coming out of your side. That's why the fee is $30,000. Plus, I mean, we are doing all of the other work that the seller would normally be doing.
Got it.
Okay, so what part of that do you need me to go over more in depth?
Just like the realtor, like how to get them involved, and then, like in terms of like how you present it to a buyer, just in general, like,
Oh, you're not doing none of that. So that's
okay. I was just making
about,
sure, because like you mentioned it, and I just wanted to clarify, because like literally this is my first time of actually hearing like I've heard the word, and I'm like, actually, like, this is my first time like actually like diving into it.
No, fair enough. So there is no looking for a buyer because the property's on market. The real estate agent's going to look for the buyer.
Right.
They're going to do whatever they would normally do for any other listing. Just the fact that you're a wholesaler doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as contacting, once you get a seller, so once I'm talking to you, I explain what it is, and you're like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my real estate agent. They'll be in touch with you in the next 24 to 48 hours. They're going to schedule a time to come walk the property for me, really get a good real estate agent vision of the property so they can give me an accurate number of what we can move this for quickly. Because I'm not putting you under contract for 90 days or 6 months. Some of these other transactions, I'm going to try and get this thing, an offer on this property within the next 3 weeks. And then once you have everyone's on the same green light, go ahead, they're all on the same page, that's when you just call any real estate agent that's local. And what I would do is I would go to Redfin or Zillow, punch up your property address, zoom out, change your filter to what's for sale, and look at the real estate agents that have got the most listings. They're the most successful. Or you can do it the other way. Look at what has sold, and then look for the real estate agent that sold the most in your neighborhood. Call them. Hey, I noticed you've been selling a lot of properties in this neighborhood. I just got one under contract. We're going to be doing a novation. I'd like to use you as the real estate agent. What do you charge? Done. That's it. And that's how you can start building a relationship with that real estate agent. Because every time you get a novation, if it's in the same neighborhood, the same area, you keep giving it to the same one. They keep getting money in their pocket because, guess what they do? They start sending you pocket listings. They start sending you off-market properties that they can't list, but they think would be good as a wholesale. They start kicking you buyers for your wholesale deals that are not novations. That's how you start building these relationships. But as far as the disposition, like finding a buyer, once it's on market, that's the real estate agent does all that. That's what they're getting paid for.
So you want it to go on market.
What happened?
I said, so you want it to go on market when you're actually like talking to a realtor.
A novation, by definition, is a listing.
Got it.
You are anytime you're doing every time you are doing a novation deal, you are listing it on market, on the MLS with a real estate agent. Just like any other property that's on market right now for sale.
So how would you like really like negotiate it? With like the seller just saying like, hey, look, like, you know, um, I have like an equity protection program, and I have a realtor I work with, da da da. But it's like, why wouldn't they just choose a realtor? Like, what's the like upside of choosing me instead of a realtor?
That's one of the best questions you can ask for innovation. It's also the hardest one to answer. And the easiest thing to that is if you can, some wholesalers will either lie or skirt the truth. They'll make it seem like they won't even tell them that they're actually listing it. They won't use that because then that raises that question. Well, I'll just list it myself. So the most successful novations that I've ever done comes when I find out in the discovery call that they don't want to list their property. When I ask, because I ask, hey, the house is in great shape and yeah, it needs a little bit of work here and there, yada, yada, yada. But I'm confused. Why do you want to sell it? Why not just list it? And then I wait for that answer. And if the answer is I don't like real estate agents, okay, I'm going to log that and keep that. If the answer is I don't have time, I'm going to log that. If the answer is I don't want to pay those fees, I'm going to log that. The best answer is the property needs work and I can't or won't fix it in order to list it with a real estate agent. Because then when I bring up my beast of a real estate agent, which can be any agent, by the way, it's any agent. I don't know if you caught that or not. I don't have, I mean, I do in the areas that I do this in, but if it's somewhere I've never done any type of novation deal, I'm still going to use that same line because I'm going to vet the real estate agent to make sure that they're not going to waste our time anyway. I'm going to tell them what I'm looking for. If they can fulfill that, great. If they can't, I'm going to move on to the next one until I find one that can. So when you're listing the property and handling all that, and sometimes they don't want to do it. They don't want to pay the money to fix the property up. And a lot of people think that the only way that they can list the property if the house has been flipped. So that's when when I bring up the novation and I clocked what they said on the first phone call. I'm like, hey, you know what? I know you said that you wanted to fix the property up, you don't have the money, but I'll tell you like this, the real estate agent that I work with, she's an absolute beast. She literally specializes in selling properties that need a little bit of work, but she still gets the best that she can, and she gets to move quickly. I really think your best option if you're trying to get the type of money that we're talking, because I can't give that to you cash. My investors won't take it. There's no meat on the bone for them. And that's fine. That's their problem, not yours. But your problem right now is getting you the money that you actually do want. The only way I see that happening is a creative deal or this equity protection program. Which one of those is more appealing to you? And we'll dive in. Because I've already explained both. And this is how I'm navigating the conversation. But I'm going to use their own words against them. So to answer your question, why won't they? If you hear a trigger where they won't list their property, you dive deeper into that. And then whatever that issue becomes the solution because your agent is a beast and can handle that specific situation. Oh, my property's messed up. I can't list it. It needs too much work. My agent specializes in that. Let's get it done. Oh, well, I don't want to be sitting here for open houses and answering a bunch of text messages for real estate. My agent they don't do it like that. Plus with this arrangement, I'm the middleman. I'm only going to bring you offers that you want. So you won't even hear from me unless it's good news. As far as the good news, that's the real estate agent's job, and she's fantastic at it. She specializes in getting properties sold quickly and for a really good price, even if they need work. So it just depends on, like, I hate to give you that kind of answer because there's probably like 30 or 40 different trigger things that you can hear from a seller that would be like, okay, this would be a good novation. But those are the main ones. They can't or won't list their property with a real estate agent. And whichever one it is, you need to dig deep and figure out what the real reason is. And then whatever that problem is, your agent has the solution. That's how you sell it. And on top of that, rather than Connor, let me ask you a question. You can absolutely call your own agent and roll the dice, or you can work with my agent who's been doing this for years. I've been working with them for years. We know how we work together. I know what she's good at. I know what she's not good at. I'm looking at this property. She's going to be good at moving this one. And on top of that, I'm going to be covering all the closing costs. I'm going to be covering all the commissions, and I'm going to cover the repairs. And that's usually a big kicker too, because if someone else is going to pay the bill for you, why would you choose? Why would you opt to pay it? So it's again, there's a lot of different situations where a novation would make sense. You'd be surprised how many people would rather just pay to have shit done for them, even if they can do it themselves. Look at baking bread. Baking bread is really easy if you're just making basic bread. Why does everyone go out and buy bread? Because even though it's easy, they don't want to do it. They'd rather just pay for it.
And it's such a great comparison. Like I'm saying, just in general, like people don't want to do it even though they have the ability to.
Yeah,
Like these two properties I have. I mean, the actual owner is not even in the state, and he's like, yeah, I don't really, I just really don't want to like mess with the property, but I'm definitely open to moving like the property. But it's just like, I'm out of state. I just don't really have too much time, and I'm like, this like right here, this novation could just be like a great way to set it up.
absolutely.
It's not even in the state.
And it's not even about money. Think about it.
Yeah.
How much is a bag of flour? A big 5-pound bag of flour, $3.
Yeah, it can't be more.
And then water. I mean, you're paying for it, but it's free. It comes out of your tap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need salt and a packet of yeast, which you can get a whole packet of yeast for $1. I can make at least 3 to 4 loaves of bread with $4 of an investment and some time, but people will pay $4 for 1 loaf of bread because they'd rather just pay for it than do it themselves. This is the exact same thing. If you treat this like a concierge thing, like, hey, I'm going to take care of everything for you. All you have to do is sign paperwork when I tell you and collect your check. You just got to give me some time and let my agent do what she does. They will pay for that. And then you just apply the formula. Once the real estate agent goes down there, they will do a CMA. They'll do a comprehensive market analysis to figure out how much they can list it for in its current condition. And then once you have that number, you apply the formula to it. Take that number, it's $300,000, right? You take that number, you subtract 10%, that's 30 grand. You subtract another 30 grand, that means your MAO is $240, $240,000.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I'm writing notes down here.
Oh, the formula?
No, not the formula. Just like that example of like 300,000.
Oh, yeah. So if the purchase price is $300,000, you're going to immediately. I'm sorry. If the as-is value is $300,000, then you're going to subtract 10%. That's for the closing costs that you're covering: the real estate agent fee, title, escrow, all that stuff. So 10% of $300,000 is 30 grand. So I'm going to subtract 30 grand. That's $270,000 left. Then I'm going to subtract my $30,000 fee. That leaves $240,000. That's my MAO.
Got it.
And I know you're thinking $30,000. Damn, Sean, that's a lot. I'm telling you right now, I thought that exact same thing on my first one. My very first novation, I made $1,700. That was my assignment fee. And it took like 5 months because I did it wrong, because I was trying to cut them a deal. But come to find out, when the inspector and the appraiser went in there, there's a whole bunch of work in the basement that needed to be done, which soaked up all of the $15,000 in assignment fee that I built in for myself. So I ended up getting nothing. Well, I got $1,700. So you want that cushion in there. You never know what an inspector and appraiser is going to find. You're not physically there. And a realtor is not going to do that type of inspection. They're just going to walk around the property. They're not going to check for termites. They're not going to check for foundation issues. I mean, ones that are blatant, okay, yeah, they'll be able to see it. But ones where, no, a professional needs to check this, and then come to find out they found something, you guys aren't going to know that. So you need to have that cushion built in. Otherwise, it'll kill the deal.
Got it. And that inspection should work like fine just with the realtor. Like obviously they're not doing like all of the specifics, but
yeah, the only reason they're going there is to tell you how much they think the property will sell for.
Yeah, the CMA.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they're doing. Now, again, if it's blatant damage, like if the roof is caved in and
Mm-hmm.
anyone and their mom can see that from the
Yeah.
street, then yeah, they'll take that into consideration. But they're not going to climb up on the roof and be like, "Yep, this roof is
Mm-hmm.
good."
How do you pitch agents though? Just like, obviously like you want them to like work with you,
Oh,
and
you
they
don't.
should.
You don't. This isn't a pitch. You're hiring them. You can be picky.
True, because there's unlimited amounts of agents.
Yeah, you can absolutely be picky. You're basically going to be calling an agent saying, "Hey, I've got a listing that you do not have to work for. Here's how we're doing it. Are you in?" And if they say yes, cool. If they say no, which I can't imagine any agent would, then you move on to the next. But since they're all probably going to say yes, then it's going to be up to you to just pick the one that you want to work with. Pick the one that's going to do what you said they were going to do to the seller. You want to pick one that's hardworking, hungry, not lazy, got ideas, input, on their shit. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yep. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So it's like you really are just like at the end of the day, just choosing which one fits, like what you're trying to do the best. I mean, yeah, it should be like a gimme for them, like in that case, because it's like they don't have to work for the list. I mean, it's right there in front of them, and they're
Yeah,
still getting a fee.
exactly.
And that's
Yeah,
coming out of like the 10% closing costs.
that's coming out of the 10%. Yeah, because usually now obviously things have changed, but back when I first started doing this, it would be 3% for the agent and 3% for the seller was absolutely covered by the seller. So that would be 6% of the 10% that you're deducting from the purchase price or the as is value. Now, the seller is not required to pay the buyer's agent's commission. We're not required. Now, I always put it in anyway because I want to get the house sold quick and I don't want anything to get in my way. But if numbers aren't lining up or whatever, and you need to cut that, cut it. But yeah, I always allot for at least 10%. 6% for agents, 4% for title, escrow, and everything else.
Got it. Okay. Um, that sounds good. My also like one of the other things that I want to know is just like actually writing it up specifically like contract wise. Like, can I use the same contract like this other
No,
finance one, or do I have to make a whole new one? Like, I don't
there's
know. I
a
don't have a template, so
there's a different contract. There's a Novation contract. I will get you a copy of it.
okay.
Essentially, all you're doing is adding. There's like three pieces, four pieces of paper that you're adding to a regular cash contract that makes it a Novation contract. That's all.
Got it. Okay. Um, sounds good. So you'll send that over my way, and then I can just kind of start seeing like what I can do. Do you have like any criteria for agents like at all? I mean, I know you previously were just like, like you want the successful ones and also like you want the ones that are hungry, willing to work.
Mhm.
But like in your experience, is there any indication? Like obviously you said recently sold or like the most sold. I mean, but those tend to be like the busiest ones. I mean, is there anything like you would say like trying to vet them out a little bit,
I mean, if they know or are familiar with what a novation transaction is, that's always a big help. And here's the thing: I wouldn't knock the busy ones because, again, the busy ones, they're busy for a reason because they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
They know the most people and they obviously are successful because they get property sold. And that's what you want. Like, look at me. I'm busy as shit. You want another teacher? You want another teacher because I'm busy? Why am I
No,
busy?
no. I mean, well,
I don't
because
know what the fuck I'm doing.
yeah,
Like, yeah, work with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. Now, that's just my preference. Experiment with some shit. I mean, that's gonna be your business, your deal. So
right. I
just
just want
because
to
I
make
say
sure.
it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. I don't know everything, just most shit.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay. I will start looking for agents now. I mean, that's probably the best way to go is just mention that I have a property that, I think
Well,
do you
here,
want to work on this
so
property with me or
you're not doing any of that until you get the deal under contract.
Okay, so you don't even really need to look for agents
No, not until you have it
until
under
you have them
contract.
agreed to the actual
Yeah.
terms.
So
Okay,
you'll have them agree to it. You'll send them the contract. And
got
here's
it.
the only other part that I guess you need to know since that we didn't go over. You're not 100% relying on the agent to come up with the as is value. You should be able to do that yourself just by running comps. And here's what you're doing. It's real simple. You know how we run comps for ARV?
The after repair value.
Yeah, you know how to run comps on those, right?
Yeah, it's like recently sold in the area, and
Mm-hmm.
then like I think it's like what 3 months, no more than 3 months, and then just like obviously this closest you can get to bed, bath, and square foot.
Yep. It's the exact same thing for an as is property, except for you're not looking for a property that's been flipped. You're looking for a property that's still lived in, that looks like it's been lived in, that's in the relatively same condition as the property you're trying to sell. So if your property is trying to sell and needs a little bit of work on the inside, you should be looking for properties that have recently sold that need a little bit of work on the inside. If your property is like pretty close to really nice but a little dated, then you should be looking for a property that's really close to really nice but dated. That's sold recently. And the other thing that you want to do is you want to keep your comps very, very close to the subject property. You want same neighborhood, same fucking neighborhood. There is no more going out a mile. Don't do that. We're going out max like half a mile because you want to know what your neighborhood is going to sell for. And then a lot of times when you're doing innovation, you can also look at what's currently on market. That's not going to be your proof of comps. It's not going to be your justification, but it'll give you an idea of where you need to be. If you see a property, if your property is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet, and it needs work, and you see another property right around the corner, same neighborhood, that's 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet, completely flipped, and it's on market for $200,000 and it's been on market for over 60 days, then $200,000 is too much, which means your house definitely ain't worth $200,000. You see what I'm saying? It'll get you in the ballpark.
Yes.
And then you can actually use your comps to zero in. Once you have the as is value figured out, you apply the formula and then you talk to the seller and make sure that they're okay with that price. And if they are, then you move forward.
Got it. Okay, so got to get the sellers on board first, and then we're good to go with the realtor.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you have the deal under contract, then that's when you get the realtor involved, not before.
Awesome. Got it. I mean, it's just like I really am not used to getting something under contract where it's like the price isn't exactly like agreed upon. Because I mean, yes, I have the as is value, but like you said, the realtor like will walk it and give you like the CMA. So it's like, you want to get as close as you can to the ARV and like the value, like the as is value. But if they already signed the contract and then the realtor like obviously is like, hey, this is like it's way too high of like a price. Like I don't know how you're gonna like really change that contract.
Exactly.
So it's really not important what the realtor says on the CMA. Like, I mean,
Not no. It's important if their number and your number is way off. That's the only time it's really important.
got it. I mean, I think yeah.
Ideally, what you want is you want her number to be high, or the real estate agent's number to be higher than your number.
Right.
That's what you want. Even if it's only by $1,000, doesn't matter. But if her number is lower than what you and the seller had already come up, or with
Yeah, that's a problem.
that's a problem because now you have to get a price reduction.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't believe so. I mean, I think this is all pretty good. I have like my whole piece of paper with notes on it, and just like being able to provide that as like a third option after seller finance. So
Perfect.
the equity protection program, as we'll call it,
Yep.
sounds good. I appreciate it, Sean.
No worries. You need anything else?
I don't believe so. I mean, once I get them to agree, maybe not just when they're signed, but I might need help like just making sure like my comps are like in the right ballpark, and like obviously like I think I'm doing a good job at like comping the properties, but I just want a second set of eyes just to make sure like I'm in the ballpark and I have like kind of the right number here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. Just let me know
Sounds
when you got
good.
it. Oh,
Thank you
and
so
then
much.
obviously, like always, this one was recorded. So I know you were taking notes, and that's admirable, but
Yes.
I'll send you the link as soon as this one's uploaded.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'll rewatch that too.
Cool deal. Talk to you later.
Thank you again. See ya.
No worries. See ya.